My dear children, come and rest in my presence now. Feel the hush of holy stillness that surrounds you like the quiet embrace of a chapel at dawn. The world outside may rush and roar, but here, in my presence, all grows calm. Imagine the golden glow of altar candles flickering softly, casting warm light upon stone walls that have seen centuries of prayer. Hear the distant toll of a church bell echoing across the hills, calling hearts back to the one who never changes. See the sunlight spilling through stained glass, painting the floor with colors of heaven, each beam whispering of my glory. This moment is sacred because I am with you. My dear children, you are never alone. As surely as the morning sun rises, my love surrounds you now. I draw you close not to burden you, but to lift the weight from your soul. You may feel weary, distracted, or burdened by cares, but here you will find peace. Here you will hear again the song of your salvation, the joy that once flooded your heart the moment you first believed. Stay with me, for I desire to remind you of that joy and restore it within you like living water flowing fresh once more. I speak to you today because I see how easily the wonder of my salvation can be dimmed by the cares of life. My dear children, the enemy of your soul would have you forget the freedom I have already given you. He whispers lies to dull the brilliance of redemption, so that you might walk through life as if still in chains. But I, the Lord who saves you, have come to remind you of what is true. I have saved you by grace, not by works, not by striving, not by earning, but by my mercy and my love poured out at the cross. When you first felt the weight of sin fall away, your soul rejoiced as a prisoner whose chains clattered to the ground and whose prison doors swung wide open. That was no passing moment. That was the eternal reality of your life in me. Yet I know how often the memory of that freedom fades under daily burdens. That is why I draw near now, to restore the song of salvation within you. So listen closely, my dear children. Let my words settle like gentle rain upon your soul. Let them stir the embers of joy that still glow within you, for I long to fan them into flame again. I remind you of the words spoken long ago in the prayer of David. Restore to me the joy of your salvation, and grant me a willing spirit to sustain me. Do you see, my dear children, that even my servant David knew what it meant to lose the brightness of joy, and yet he cried out to me for its return? And I answered him, I will answer you too. Your salvation is not fragile. It is not uncertain. It is sealed in the blood of Christ, forever secure in my hands. But the joy of salvation can grow dim when your eyes turn away from me. The cares of this world, the noise of daily struggles, the disappointments that weigh on you, these things can cloud your vision. You begin to forget that you are already free, already redeemed, already loved beyond measure. Picture again the prison cell that once held you. Dark walls, heavy chains, no hope of escape. That was the place of sin. And then, my dear children, I came. I broke the lock. I shattered the chains. I swung the door open wide. The sound of metal falling to the ground was the anthem of your freedom. You walked into the light, blinking as the fresh air of grace filled your lungs. You were no longer bound. That moment was real. That moment was forever. Do not let the shadows trick you into thinking you are still trapped. Do not forget that you stand in the wide-open field of my mercy, where chains can never again bind you. You are free, For whom the Son sets free is free indeed. My joy is not meant to be a distant memory, but a present strength. I have given you rivers of living water, flowing unceasingly within you. Drink deeply of it now. My dear children, the joy of salvation is not dependent on your circumstances. Even in the storm it sings. Even in the valley it shines. It is the song of the redeemed, echoing louder than sorrow, stronger than fear. When you worship, it rises like incense. When you pray, it steadies your heart. When you walk through trials, it becomes the oil that heals your wounds. I call you to remember. Remember the cross where love poured out for you. Remember the empty tomb where death was defeated. Remember the first spark of faith when you knew beyond doubt that you belonged to me. These memories are not mere stories. They are living truth. Each one is a doorway back into joy, back into the certainty that you are mine. Lift your eyes, my dear children. See the light breaking through the clouds. See the Father's arms stretched wide to embrace you. Hear the whisper of my Spirit reminding you that you are forgiven, chosen, and dearly loved. Do not walk in heaviness as though I had not already redeemed you. Sing again the song of your salvation, for I have restored you to life. There will be days when joy feels far, when shadows seem closer than light. But even then, the joy of salvation remains like a steady flame that cannot be snuffed out. Come to me in those moments. Rest in my promises. Trust in my faithfulness. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. I do not grow weary of you, nor do I withdraw my love. Let the chains falling off echo in your soul. Let the doors swinging open remind you that no prison can hold you. You are free because I have said so. You are redeemed because my Son gave his life for you. You are loved because I am love itself. That is your joy, that is your salvation, and that is your song forevermore. My dear children, linger here with me a while longer, for I am not finished pouring my love into your hearts. The joy of salvation is a river that does not run dry, yet so often you sip only a drop when I long for you to drink deeply. Do not hurry away from this moment. Let your soul rest in the truth that I have already done the greatest work for you. You are redeemed, cleansed, and made new. Do you remember when you first felt the chains of guilt fall away? That was not imagination, that was freedom. The heaviness that once pressed upon your chest lifted because I bore it for you. You felt light, as if your very breath had changed. For it had I breathed my Spirit into you. That joy you felt then was not meant to fade, but to be renewed each day as you turn your eyes toward me. My dear children, hear me when I say this. Nothing can take away the salvation I have given you. Circumstances may shift, feelings may rise and fall, but your redemption is anchored in eternity. It is sealed with the unbreakable promise of my covenant. When I said, "You are mine," I meant it forever. Let this truth awaken your heart again. Think of the dawn after a long night. The darkness stretches on, and you may wonder if the sun will ever rise. Yet without fail, the horizon glows, and light pours across the earth. That is what salvation is, the dawn breaking after the longest night, never to be overcome again. I am your light, and no darkness can extinguish what I have begun in you. The joy of salvation is more than a fleeting smile. It is a deep well of strength. It is the assurance that even when the world trembles, your soul is secure. It is the peace that guards your heart when fears whisper around you. It is the song that rises when you cannot see the way forward, for you know the one who leads you has already gone before. I remind you of this, my dear children. I am your shepherd. I lead you beside still waters. I restore your soul. I set a table before you in the presence of your enemies, and my goodness and mercy follow you all the days of your life. This is not poetry alone. This is my promise to you. In these words, the joy of salvation flows, because they are my pledge that you will never walk alone. Do not measure joy by the shifting patterns of this world. Joy is not the absence of trial, but the presence of me. Even Paul, my servant, sang hymns in the prison at midnight because he knew his chains could not touch the freedom of his soul. So too, my dear children, the trials of your life cannot silence the joy I have placed within you. That joy is anchored in my Son's victory. Think again of the prison doors. Once they were shut, cold and immovable. But in the moment of your salvation, they swung wide open with a thunderous crash. The angels rejoiced, the heavens resounded, and your soul stepped into light. That is the moment you must return to in your heart whenever weariness tempts you. You were once bound, but you are free. You were once lost, but you are found. That is joy eternal. My dear children, I know how the weight of daily life presses upon you. I see the bills, the worries, the broken relationships, the health struggles, the unspoken fears that wake you at night. I do not dismiss them, for I walk with you in them. But hear me. None of these things can undo the salvation I have given. None of them can close the door I opened. None of them can bind you again in chains I have shattered. Lift your eyes to me and let joy rise again. I remind you also that the joy of salvation is not only for you, but for others. When you walk in my joy, it becomes a light to those still sitting in the shadows of their prisons. Your song of freedom calls them to hope. Your peace in trial draws them to me. When you live with the joy of salvation shining in your life, you carry my presence into places of despair. You become a testimony that I am real, that I save, that I love beyond measure. So rejoice, my dear children. Rejoice not in what you see, but in who you are redeemed, beloved, chosen. Rejoice that your names are written in the Lamb's book of life, never to be erased. Rejoice that heaven rejoiced over you the day you came home, and heaven still rejoices over you now. I know there are moments when you feel dry, when joy seems distant. In those moments, ask of me as David did. Restore to me the joy of your salvation. I delight to answer that prayer. I delight to pour fresh oil upon your spirit, to lift your eyes, to fill your heart again. You need not strive for it. Simply ask, and I will renew it within you. See yourself standing once more in the field of freedom. The chains lie broken at your feet. The prison is behind you, its doors wide open, never to close upon you again. Before you stretches the wide horizon of my promises, endless and bright. Breathe in the air of grace, feel the warmth of my love shining down upon you, and walk with joy. This is your inheritance, my dear children. The joy of salvation is not a gift you receive once and lose, but a treasure that grows as you walk with me. Each step, each prayer, each act of trust adds to its depth. And even when your heart feels heavy, my spirit within you sings a song of redemption that cannot be silenced. Therefore, come to me daily. Rest in my presence. Let me remind you again and again of who you are and what I have done for you. Let the joy of salvation be the melody that carries you through every season, the anchor that steadies you in every storm, the light that shines when all else fades. You are mine, my dear children. You were worth the cross. You are the reason for the empty tomb. And you are the delight of my heart. Nothing will change this, ever. So rejoice, for your salvation is secure, and your joy is everlasting. My dear children, listen closely, for I desire to press these truths deeper into your hearts. Too often you live as though your freedom were fragile, as if the salvation I purchased with the blood of my Son could be shaken by circumstance or stolen by fear. But nothing and no one can undo what I have done. I have broken the chains. I have shattered the lock. I have called you out of darkness into my marvelous light. That door will never close again. When you remember this, joy will rise like dawn breaking upon the mountains. I do not speak these words lightly, for I know how heavy life can feel. Some of you walk through valleys of sorrow that seem unending. Some of you bear disappointments that have pierced your heart. Some of you carry regrets that whisper lies in the stillness of night. But hear me, my dear children. Your sorrow does not erase your salvation. Your pain does not diminish your redemption. The blood of my Son speaks a better word than your regrets. It speaks forgiveness. It speaks newness of life. It speaks joy everlasting. Lift your eyes to the cross again. See my love written there in crimson lines across wood and sky. See the chains fall from your wrists as Christ bore them in his hands. See the stone rolled away from the tomb, never to be sealed again. That is your story, your freedom, your joy. And when you anchor your heart in this truth, no storm can sink you. Do not mistake joy for a fleeting emotion. Joy is not a fragile mood that shifts with the wind. Joy is the deep assurance of who you are in me and what I have done for you. It is the settled gladness that no matter what comes, you belong to me. Joy is the song of the redeemed, echoing louder than the voice of despair. It is the steady flame that burns even in the coldest nights. My dear children, think of the shepherd who finds his lost sheep. He lifts it upon his shoulders and carries it home with rejoicing. That is how I carried you when you were wandering, and even now I carry you still. Do you see? Your joy does not depend on your strength, but on mine. You are safe because I hold you. You rejoice because I delight in you. You rest because my arms are strong and steady. The joy of salvation is also the oil of healing. Some of you have wounds that go deep, places where you feel broken, unworthy, or ashamed. But the joy of salvation seeps into those cracks like balm, soothing and restoring. It whispers that you are forgiven, that your past does not define you, that you are made whole in me. When you let this truth soak into your soul, bitterness fades and peace flows like a river. Picture yourself standing in a wide field under the open sky. The prison lies behind you, its doors broken, its chains rusting in the dust. Before you stretches a path glowing with light. You are no longer a captive. You are no longer weighed down. You are mine, set free to walk in joy. Every step you take upon that path is a step into the fullness of life I have prepared for you. My dear children, remember that salvation is not only deliverance from sin, but also restoration to fellowship with me. I did not free you only to leave you wandering. I freed you so that you might walk with me. And when you walk with me, joy grows. The joy of salvation is found in my presence. For in my presence is fullness of joy and pleasures forevermore. Do not run from me when you are weary. Do not hide from me when you stumble. Run into my embrace, for I am your Father, who delights in you. I remind you again of my promise. Restore to me the joy of your salvation. When you pray this, I answer with open hands. I pour out fresh oil upon your head. I fill your heart anew with the gladness of grace. I place a new song upon your lips, a song of thanksgiving, a hymn of freedom. Let that song rise even now within you. Sing not because of circumstances, but because of salvation. The joy of salvation also gives strength for your journey. It is not a passive feeling, but a living power that carries you through trial. When Nehemiah said, "The joy of the Lord is your strength," he spoke truth that resounds for all ages. My joy within you becomes the power to endure, the courage to stand, the hope to keep walking even when the road feels long. My dear children, lean into this strength. It is my gift to you, and do not keep this joy hidden. A candle was never meant to be covered. When others see the radiance of my salvation in your life, they too are drawn to the light. Your joy becomes a testimony, a beacon pointing others to the freedom I long to give them. Every smile born of salvation, every word of hope spoken in faith, every act of kindness overflowing from my love within you, these are flames that spread my light. So rejoice, my dear children. Rejoice even in small ways. Rejoice when the morning breaks. Rejoice when the night is quiet. Rejoice when the harvest is full and when the field feels barren, for your salvation is unchanging. Let rejoicing be your anthem, your shield, your song. For the enemy trembles when my children rejoice in what I have already accomplished. Remember always, the chains are broken, the doors are open, the light has come. You are mine, you are free. And the joy of your salvation is a well that will never run dry. Drink deeply, live freely, and sing loudly, for this is your portion forever. My dear children, let your hearts stay open, for I am not finished reminding you of who you are in me. The joy of salvation is not a shallow spring that dries up in heat. It is a mighty river flowing from my throne, unceasing and abundant. When you come to me, you drink from living waters that never run dry. And each time you remember the cross, each time you recall the empty tomb, each time you whisper my name in faith, that river flows stronger through your spirit. There will be days when you feel tired and empty, when the world seems gray and your prayers feel heavy. On those days, my dear children, the joy of salvation is not gone. It is waiting beneath the surface, ready to rise again as you turn your eyes to me. Do not despair when you do not feel joy in the same way you once did. Feelings change like the wind, but the truth of your redemption stands unshaken. Joy is not built on the shifting sands of emotion, but on the solid rock of what I have already accomplished for you. Think of Paul and Silas singing hymns in the prison at midnight. Their chains rattled, their bodies ached, yet their hearts rejoiced because they knew their salvation was secure. That same joy belongs to you, my dear children. You too can sing in the night, because I am your light. You too can lift your head in trial, because I am your victory. You too can rejoice in the valley, because I walk beside you every step. The joy of salvation is also the shield that guards your heart. When discouragement comes, joy lifts your eyes to my promises. When doubt whispers, joy reminds you that you are mine. When fear tries to bind you, joy declares that the chains are already broken. This joy is not naive, pretending trouble does not exist. It is courageous, proclaiming that trouble will not have the last word. For I, the Lord your God, hold the last word, and my word is life, freedom, and love eternal. My dear children, never forget that salvation is not only rescue from sin, but restoration to life. I did not simply remove your chains. I placed upon you a crown of beauty instead of ashes, joy instead of mourning, praise instead of despair. You are clothed in garments of righteousness, shining with the light of my Spirit. Walk as children of the day, for you no longer belong to the night. And in this identity, joy will flow naturally, for your spirit knows it is free. Consider again the image of the prison. In that dark place the air was heavy, the silence suffocating, yet when the door swung open, fresh wind rushed in, sunlight poured across the floor, and hope returned. That is what I have done for you. That is what salvation feels like, the first breath of freedom after long captivity, and that breath never leaves you. For I have sealed my Spirit within you as a pledge of eternal life. My joy is also your song of victory. Even when you stumble, even when you fall, the song does not stop. My Spirit within you sings, you are forgiven. You are restored. You are mine. Let that melody fill your heart when shame tries to silence you. Let it rise when despair tries to drown you. For you are not defined by your failures. You are defined by my love. And my love is steadfast, unchanging, and everlasting. My dear children, I see how often you long for peace, for assurance, for hope that will not disappoint. Look no further than the cross. Look no further than the pierced hands that hold you even now. In those hands your salvation was secured. In those hands your joy was made eternal. Do not let the noise of this world make you forget. Quiet your heart and remember, I am your salvation. I am your joy. I am your everlasting Father who delights in you. The joy of salvation also transforms your perspective. When you walk in this joy, you begin to see life differently. The burdens you carry no longer crush you, because you know I carry them with you. The storms that rage no longer terrify you, because you know I am your refuge. The uncertainties of tomorrow no longer paralyze you, because you know your eternity is secure. This is the power of joy. It changes how you see, how you walk, how you live. And remember, my dear children, joy is contagious. When others see you walking with joy, even in hardship, they are drawn to the source of your strength. Your life becomes a living testimony of my grace. You become a lighthouse in the storm, guiding others to the safe harbor of my love. Never underestimate the power of your joy to awaken hope in another soul. So, let joy rise within you. Let it flow into your words, your prayers, your worship. Let it shape your daily life, how you greet the morning, how you walk through the day, how you rest at night. And when you find yourself weary, ask me again. Restore to me the joy of your salvation. I delight to answer, for I love to see my children radiant with joy. The chains are gone, The door is open, the light is shining, you are free, you are mine, and the joy of salvation is your song forevermore. My dear children, stay close to my heart, for there is more I long to give you. The joy of salvation is not a small treasure hidden in some distant place. It is a living inheritance already placed in your hands. Too often, you live as if you are poor, while holding the riches of heaven within you. You look at your emptiness, forgetting the fullness I have poured into your soul, but I tell you this, you lack nothing in me. I have given you everything you need for life and godliness, and joy is the banner that waves over all I have provided. Do you remember the day when you first called on my name with all your heart? How light filled you, how tears turned to laughter, how despair turned to hope. That was the beginning of your song, but it was never meant to end. The melody of salvation still plays, even if you have grown too distracted to hear it clearly. Lean in, my dear children, and listen again. Beneath the noise of your fears, beneath the weight of your worries, the music is still playing. It is the song of my spirit, reminding you that you are free, reminding you that you are mine. Think of a prisoner stepping into the sunlight after long years in darkness. The warmth on his face, the wind brushing against his skin, the wide open world stretching before him. This is what I gave you when I saved you. And though you may feel the memory fading, the reality has not dimmed. You are still standing in that wide open space of grace. You are still breathing the air of freedom. The chains did not return, the door did not close. You are forever free. My dear children, I know how quickly joy can be stolen when you fix your eyes on what is broken instead of on what is whole. The world is filled with noise, voices telling you that you are not enough, circumstances pressing you into fear. But my voice is stronger, my love is greater, and my joy is deeper than any sorrow that comes against you. Let your heart rest in what is eternal, not in what is temporary. For everything seen will pass away, but the gift of salvation endures forever. I remind you of this. Salvation is not a one-time moment forgotten in the past. It is the ongoing story of my love woven through your life every single day. Each morning you wake, my mercy is new. Each step you take, my grace sustains you. Each trial you face, my presence upholds you. And each breath you breathe, my spirit is within you, singing the song of redemption. That is joy, unending. Picture again the prison doors flung wide. The light floods in, the chains fall with a clang that echoes across eternity. You do not walk out alone. I take your hand, I lead you, I walk beside you. That is the joy of salvation. Never alone, never abandoned, always with me. When you stumble, my dear children, do not think your joy is lost. I am there to lift you. My hand is steady, my mercy is abundant, and my love never lets go. Even in your weakness, joy remains, because it is not rooted in your perfection, but in my finished work. Salvation was never about what you could do for me. It has always been about what I have done for you, and that truth cannot be shaken. Let joy also teach you to see differently. Where the world sees hopelessness, you see redemption. Where others see defeat, you see victory. Where others see brokenness, you see my hand restoring. This is the power of salvation. It transforms not only your soul, but your vision. You begin to see with heaven's eyes, and joy rises naturally when you realize that nothing is beyond my reach. My dear children, I want you to live as people of joy, not as captives of fear. When you walk with joy, your countenance shines with my light. Your words bring life. Your presence carries peace, and others are drawn to the freedom you have found. Never hide the joy of salvation as though it were a fragile thing. Let it shine boldly, for it is unshakable and eternal. Rejoice not only in what I have done, but in what I am still doing. Every day I am shaping you into the image of my Son. Every day I am weaving your story into the greater tapestry of redemption. Every day I am preparing you for the glory yet to come. This too is the joy of salvation, that your story is not finished, and the ending is already written in victory. Do not wait for perfect circumstances to rejoice. Joy is not found in the absence of trouble, but in my presence within the trouble. When storms rise, remember that I am in the boat with you. When valleys stretch long, remember that my rod and my staff comfort you. When shadows seem to close in, remember that my light is stronger. And in remembering, let joy be your song. Lift your face to the heavens now, my dear children, and let hope rise again. The same God who broke your chains still walks with you. The same Savior who rose from the grave still reigns in your heart. The same Spirit who filled you with peace still breathes life within you. Let these truths ignite joy again. The joy of salvation is your inheritance, your shield, your song, your strength. Walk in it, live in it, share it. And when you falter, come back to me and ask again. Restore to me the joy of your salvation. I will never tire of answering. I will never withhold my presence. I will never fail to renew your joy. So stand tall in your freedom. Sing loudly in your redemption. Rest deeply in my love, and rejoice always, for you are mine, and your salvation is eternal. My dear children, linger with me a little longer, for I delight to cover you with blessing as you go. You have heard my words of life, you have remembered the joy of salvation, and now I long to seal this joy within you as a living flame that will not grow dim. Let these closing moments be like the calm after a storm, when the skies clear and the light breaks through the clouds in radiant peace. Let your soul rest in my presence, knowing that I am your refuge and your Father forever. Feel the gentle weight of my hand upon your shoulder, steady and kind. Hear the whisper of my voice speaking peace over your heart. The world may roar outside, but within these moments, my stillness reigns. I am here, I am with you, and I will not let you go. My dear children, remember that my peace is not fragile. It is not like the shifting winds of this world. My peace is strong, steady, and eternal, flowing like a river that cannot be stopped. As the Scripture says, the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Let that peace wash over you now. Let it guard your thoughts, calm your spirit, and steady your steps as you go forward. The joy of salvation is your song, but peace is the melody that carries it. Together they make a symphony that fills your life with hope. You are not walking through shadows alone. You are walking in the light of my presence. And wherever my light shines, darkness cannot prevail. Look, my dear children, and see the clouds parting. Rays of golden light stream down, touching the earth with warmth. That light is my love for you. It breaks through every storm. It chases away every shadow. It reveals the beauty of my promises. You are never forgotten. You are always seen. You are forever loved. As you step into the days ahead, let the memory of freedom be your anchor. You are not a prisoner anymore. The chains have fallen, the doors have opened, and you stand in a wide open field of grace. I want you to walk boldly in that field, rejoicing in the freedom I have given you. When fear whispers, remember the sound of chains clattering to the ground. When doubt presses in, remember the doors swinging wide. When sorrow tries to weigh you down, remember the sunlight streaming into the darkness of your soul, the day you were set free. That is your story, your reality, your eternal truth. My dear children, I bless you now with courage. Courage to walk in joy, even when circumstances try to steal it. Courage to hold fast to hope, even when the night feels long. Courage to believe that I am working all things together for good, even when you cannot yet see the tapestry I am weaving. I bless you with strength, the strength that comes not from striving but from resting in my presence. And I bless you with peace, a peace that will guard your heart like strong walls around a city, a peace that the world cannot take away. Do not fear the future. I am already there. Do not dwell on the past. It is covered in mercy. Walk with me in the present, step by step, breath by breath, for I am Emmanuel, God with you. And where I am, there is fullness of joy. My dear children, picture yourself resting now by the rivers of living water. The air is cool, the breeze is gentle, and the sound of the waters refreshes your soul. This river never runs dry, for it flows from my throne. You may come to it every day. You may drink freely. You may let it wash over you whenever your spirit feels weary. This is the river of my grace, the flow of my spirit, the endless supply of my love. And I say to you, whoever believes in me, rivers of living water will flow from within them. Do not try to carry your burdens alone. Lay them down at the river's edge. Let them be swept away by my mercy. Feel the lightness return to your heart, for you were never made to carry such weight. I am your burden bearer, your refuge, your Father. And as you rest here with me, know that I take delight in you. You are not a disappointment. You are not overlooked. You are my beloved, and I rejoice over you with singing. My dear children, lift your eyes now to see the Father's embrace. I hold you close, not with arms of judgment, but with arms of tenderness. I press you near to my heart, so you can hear the steady rhythm of my love, a love that never falters, never weakens, never ends. Even when you doubt yourself, I do not doubt you. Even when you stumble, I do not let you go. My embrace is forever, and nothing in all creation can separate you from my love. As you leave this time of devotion, carry this embrace with you. When you feel lonely, remember my arms around you. When you feel afraid, remember my hand guiding you. When you feel weary, remember my voice, whispering peace. I am always near, closer than your breath, nearer than your heartbeat. My dear children, I bless you now with hope. Hope that shines like a lighthouse on the shore. Hope that steadies your heart when waves crash against you. Hope that lifts your eyes to eternity, where every tear will be wiped away and every sorrow will fade into joy. This hope is not uncertain. It is anchored in the risen Christ, who lives forevermore. So, rise each day with joy. Walk each step with peace. Rest each night in hope. For I am with you, I am for you, and I will never leave you. Now, my dear children, as this time together draws to a close, I gently invite you to let these words continue to live in you. If this message has touched your heart, share it so that others may also hear my voice and remember the joy of salvation. Let your comments be like prayers, joining together in faith. Let your subscription be a way of saying, "Yes, Father, I want to remain in your presence, hearing your words again and again," not out of obligation, but out of love, a way of spreading the light so that many more of my children can come home and find rest in me. Go now with my blessing, my dear children. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May my face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May my peace rest upon you, both now and forevermore. Walk in joy, live in freedom, and remember always you are mine and I am yours.